Today at the White House, Donald Trump further proved that his tariff policy makes zero sense by threatening 25% tariffs on countries who support Denmark's long-standing control of Greenland.
I may put a tariff on countries if they don't go along with Greenland, because we need Greenland for national security. So I may do that.
Right. Donald Trump wants you to pay more in taxes, because that's what a tariff is. It's a tax on American consumers, simply because he's got some weird obsession with taking over Greenland. And in an attempt to save face after allowing Obamacare subsidies to expire, which has resulted in about 1.4 million Americans dropping their health care coverage so far this year, Donald Trump this week released something he's calling a health care proposal. He's calling it that. The New York Times described it like this. The plan was short on specific details and left much of the direction for how to finalize it up to Congress. It amounted to a few paragraphs on a web page released with a video of Mr. Trump promoting what he called the Great Health Care Plan. So, consumer goods are more expensive, housing's more expensive, healthcare, you see the trend here, right? It's more expensive. And neither Donald Trump, the guy who campaigned on lower prices on day one, nor the Republicans on Capitol Hill seem to have any solutions to offer. So it's no wonder Donald Trump continues to say things like this.
In the coming weeks, I will be laying out even more plans to help bring back affordability. And again, remember, that's a fake word by Democrats.
Democrats plan to make that very real word, affordability, the focus of their efforts to regain control of Congress in 2026. Former Biden Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg was in La Crosse, Wisconsin tonight, preaching that very message.
And then when you come home from work and go to your home, it ought to be safe and it ought to be affordable. And you ought to have that hope of owning a home. And if you do, when you sit down to do the bills, you shouldn't feel like you've got to choose between your health insurance premium and your mortgage. And when you do those bills, you should still be able to picture how you're going to have a vacation. That's not too much to ask in the United States of America.
All right, joining us now on her way home from that event, literally from a gas station, is Rebecca Cook, Democratic congressional candidate for Wisconsin's 3rd District. Rebecca, you shame us all, because sometimes I'll get a call from my bosses say, some news, can you come on TV? And I'll say, I'm on my way somewhere, or I'm at work, or whatever. You have joined me from your work as a waitress. You've now joined me from a gas station. So first of all, I just have to thank you for your commitment to continuing to have these conversations with us. It's important.
No, well, absolutely. I think it's about, showing up and meeting people where they're at. And you're catching me when I'm getting off of work. You're catching me tonight on my way home in a blizzard in Arcadia, Wisconsin at a Quick Trip. But it's great to be here with you. I'm excited to connect about what we heard here tonight in Wisconsin.
And thanks to the Quick Trip for hosting you there. Let's talk a little about this nonsense that Donald Trump keeps on talking about. He claims to go down these roads of wanting to help people with affordability, and yet everything he does seems to work against it, including now we're apparently going to have a Greenland tax. But this health care thing, right? You've been talking about it for months. You understand why this is a real issue, particularly from farming communities like the one you come from. It's not a plan at all. Republicans have had 15 years to come up with a plan. There's no plan. A year ago, Donald Trump said he had a concept of a plan. A year and a half ago. Right. It's still nothing but a couple of paragraphs on a web page.
That's exactly right. I think people in where I live are really struggling to get the help, not just the healthcare access that they need, but to be able to afford it in general. And so I think, what we saw from the House this past week in expanding ACA tax credits, hopefully for another 3 years. If the Senate passes it, it's still another Band-Aid. But with Trump's suggestion just to put some money into an HSA account, I think is totally out of touch of what it actually costs for healthcare in this country. I'm on the Affordable Care Act. I've seen my monthly premium increase by $200 a month. I have an HSA. Throwing $1,000 into that is not going to make a really big difference. And I think what is important here to remember is that Republicans have a supermajority. So they have an opportunity. If you don't like the ACA or you don't like Obamacare, you have an opportunity to do something different, but they don't have a plan. They don't have a concrete plan. I'm running against someone who's on his website has a one-sentence healthcare policy, which is to repeal and replace Obamacare. but with what?
Yeah, I've been hearing that for 15 years.
Exactly. So
Give me a suggestion. Give me a plan. We can debate it. I'd be happy to take it apart and debate it and look at its merits. Derek Van Orden, let's talk about this for a second. He voted with Democrats on something. He was one of 17 Republicans who voted with Democrats the other day. Now, he was a guy who wasn't showing up at his own town hall meetings some time ago. What do you make of this?
I think that he is concerned about re-election. He is not concerned about a thoughtful path for having long-term healthcare solutions. He hasn't. He's voted for this to expand the ACA tax credits when it was convenient, but on the other side of his mouth, he's talking about how he wants to repeal Obamacare, and that's, again, he has a one-sentence healthcare policy, and we need more than that. We expect more from our elected leaders, and I think somebody like Derek Van Orden has failed to host any sort of in-person town hall to be accountable for any of the votes that he's taken, including his vote for the reconciliation bill. I've been talking to a lot of rural hospital CEOs across my district. I'm obviously not their elected representative now, but what do you need? What do you need to keep your doors open? How can we change Medicaid and Medicare reimbursement rates so it's easier for you to, provide access to our rural communities? And he's not having those conversations. And people right now are looking for folks that want to show up and not just tell people what they're about, but to listen. And I think we saw that tonight in having Mayor Pete in town in La Crosse. It was a whole heck of a lot of people that turned out, primarily because we don't have a representative that is showing up to listen to them. And people want answers.
Rebecca, good to see you again. I can't wait to see where it is going to be that you and I next talk.
I
Rebecca
like to
Cook
keep you guessing.
No, I love it. It's a lot of fun. Rebecca Cook is a Democrat from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And you're at a gas station. I love it. She's a candidate for the United States House of Representatives. Again, thank you for joining us tonight.